Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let me give a shout out to Randy Radford. Randy Radford just got out of the hospital. Unexpectedly, on Thanksgiving, had a heart attack and went in. Randy, I don't know if that happened before, during, or after the Cowboy game, but I feel you because I felt like I wanted to have a heart attack after seeing that. I definitely was sick to my stomach, but all jokes aside, I'm glad that you're out of the hospital and feeling better. I just am. And it makes you appreciate, though, when things happen to you, how important life is. So, today, I try and watch as much of the YouTube as I can. Some guys you don't want to watch too much of because it'll give you a headache. Watching Philly 500 literally melting down, you like to watch that right now because he is definitely beat down. We've gotten to the point where we stink, and we know we stink, and we're over it. We're okay because we're looking towards the future and things like the draft and stuff. Philly was still just 2 weeks ago living on, the North Dakota assassin. The North Dakota assassin. Yeah, the Eagles. We're going to chop off Joe Boo's head. Yeah. And then he lost the belt. And then, of course, Carson Wentz kept losing the football. It just kept going downhill for him. And now he is just like, damn. How bad is it? It is so bad that before Philly 500 was having bets with me about who was going to win the division, he wants to turn it into who gets the higher draft pick. Literally. That's a complete 180, but it is what it is. So we want to support each other, on YouTube here because, again, we're all like family and stuff. We compete and things and all that, but everybody out there puts in a lot of hard work to bring you guys the best content and go through, sub up, like, comment, do those things to help them out. And I may not be your cup of tea. I may not be, and I'm okay with that. But I guarantee you that there are YouTubers out there that will give you exactly the kind of content that you want. So go out there, explore. And when you do find them, make sure you show them some love. And so today, I had gotten a notification from Jeff Kavanaugh. Jeffrey time. I love Jeffrey time. He's real good with that. And the headlines were trade for Tever Lawrence. And I'm watching this video and thinking, okay, he was talking about a podcast on Pro Football Focus where these guys were talking about, and it kind of makes sense because, if you're Tever Lawrence and the thoughts of, he's already said that, this is my last game, appreciate and love all you guys, and so on. It makes sense if you're Tever Lawrence if you don't want to go to the Jets. Now, granted, the Cowboys and Jets, we've got about the same record over the last 2 years, okay? We've sucked as bad as the Jets. I get that. In fact, the Jets beat us last year. However, you look since Joe Namath won that Super Bowl, the Jets, for the most part, have been a disappointment. I know they did okay with Ryan there for a while. They got to the AFC Championship a couple times, with butt fumble and things. But for the most part, the Jets haven't done a whole lot. Not that we have in the last 25 years. I get that. But if you look at that, yeah, you're in New York City. But do you really want to go to the Jets? And he's looking at this as a situation where it's like Eli Manning or John Elway. John Elway, Baltimore wanted to draft him. Originally the Colts. And he was like, I'm not playing for the Colts. So it may be a situation where Tever Lawrence says, if you draft me, I'm going to sit out. I'm not playing for you. Screw you. And so if you're the Jets and knowing that you need another quarterback because you've ruined Sam Darnold, it's amazing how people were saying Sam Darnold's better quarterback than Dak Prescott, but yet they're out here ready to replace him. And speaking of being replaced, FYI, you want a good laugh? Go to Pro Football Focus and look at the quarterback stats. And go down through, and the cool thing about Pro Football Focus is you can click on like yards, attempts, and completion percentage. And it'll go down through and it will lock in and put each of the players in order of where they're ranking, right? For each category, which is cool. It makes it easier. This is where it's great to be alive now, because getting your statistics and numbers, it's easier because of the internet. It used to be you'd have to find a book, and then you'd have to go through it. You'd have to, it was hard work. It was hard work. But anyway, do that, and look where Carson Wentz lines up on everything. You talk about suckage. He is one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm talking about Drew Luck is better than that guy. That's how bad it is. But anyway, I digress. So what he was saying was, or they were saying on the podcast is, that Tever Lawrence may tell him, I'm not playing for you guys. Screw you. Don't draft me. In which case, then they say, okay, we're going to go ahead and we'll trade back. And we'll try and get one of the quarterbacks. Maybe get Justin Fields. And, there's Jacksonville's not going to trade up for one spot. That maybe the team that you trade with would be the Cowboys. Cowboys have Dak Prescott, right? And so what you do is, and this is where it's crazy to me. He said, so you end up being the Cowboys. You franchise tag Dak Prescott to lock him in, get him to agree with being traded to the Jets, and trade him to the Jets, and you give up whatever you have to take that number one spot, to move up, maybe 3 spots or whatever, including giving up your whole draft. First thing, what makes you think that Dak Prescott would sign a franchise tag to be traded to the Jets? Do you think that's going to happen? Second thing, if you were going to do that, why would you need to give up your whole freaking draft? You're talking about a guy that you guarantee that is a starting caliber quarterback, one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, a guy who was on record pace to get more yards than anybody ever in a season in the NFL. And you're saying you have to give him as well as your whole draft, which is 11 picks, FYI, this year, to try and take a risk on a rookie quarterback? Are you smoking some shit? Seriously? Here's the thing. Hypothetically, let's say you do that. Let's say you go through and you give up your whole draft. You trade Dak Prescott, and you get a rookie quarterback. Okay. Let's say he is all that in a ham sandwich. So let me ask you this. Who's blocking for him? Because you got some holes there. What you doing about safety? What you doing about linebacker? What you doing about defensive line? Where are you going to fill all these holes if you give up all your draft picks? The one place that you actually look at and say, the Cowboys do really well at filling in their holes by draft picks. Now, I get it. You'll save $38 million, but we've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on wasted talent. We currently have $22 million in dead money sitting right there. And if Cowboys fans had their way, they'd be cutting Zeke Elliott, they'd be cutting Jalen Smith, and they'd be cutting everybody, putting more dead money in there. Literally, anybody who thinks that they're an expert and thinks that that is a good idea to trade your whole draft and Dak Prescott to New York to get Tever Lawrence is really smoking some good shit. I'm sorry. That's one of those things and stories that you look at and say, oh, that's a great conversation. That's a great conversation. That'll get some clicks. But come on, man. You don't really believe that that is a viable solution. Now, that's not saying that Jerry Jones, after literally throwing Ben DiNucci under the bus and saying he's the same as a undrafted practice squad wide receiver at quarterback, that's not to say that Jerry Jones wouldn't do something crazy and say, you know what, let's do that. Because he did want to get Johnny Manziel, didn't he? Till Stephen Jones said, give me that card. Yeah. Crazy, crazy year. Give up your whole draft and Dak Prescott. If anything, you would say Dak Prescott for the #1 pick. Just saying. Just saying. Whole draft. Are you stupid or something? All right. It's been a long, long day, and it's time to put this day to bed. I appreciate y'all. Be safe. Keep your distance. Mask up. And hope for better days. I will see you in the morning, God willing.